Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Foolish Fish Esoteric News with your weekly updates on the worlds of esoteric and occult book publishing and arts and events and paraphernalia. Please forgive my voice, it seems to be going. I hope that it lasts out until the end of the video. Let's find out. In the meantime, I've got so much news for you this week. It's insane. We're starting off with news from Samuel David, who has written Lioness, the Song of Inanna. This is currently available for pre-order exclusively through Miskatonic Books. And it's a prayer, a hymn, an official hymn, and they're saying that it's the first traditional hymn to Inanna published in 3,500 years, which is really cool, very, very cool. Let's have a quick look at what this beautiful, tiny production is looking like. So yeah, 3.5 by 6 inches with a little slipcase and handmade end papers like that. You can see how small it looks actually next to those clips. Those brass clips that Miskatonic Books use to display these the books that they sell, of course. But doesn't it look absolutely beautiful? So Inanna, if you're interested in the divine feminine, she is like the proto divine feminine goddess, right? Anyone from Ishtar to Mary Magdalene really have their origins in Inanna. Very, very cool stuff, and I'm delighted to see this. It's really, really nice. So I've put my order in already, and I'm really looking forward to receiving my copy. Looks lovely. There we are. Moving on to news from Anathema Publishing, and actually continuing maybe, as you'll see in a few moments, with news from Samuel David. The Time of the Phoenix Part 3 has been released, their newsletter, of course, and a few really exciting developments. First of all, we're no longer going to be seeing 4 different editions of each book anymore. There used to be standard, collectors, artisanal, and then paperback. And now it seems that standard and collectors are going to be combined, which I think is a very good idea. First of all, it becomes much more sustainable for a tiny company like Anathema Publishing, which is just, well, until very recently has just been one man, right? Gabriel McCarthy doing everything from choosing the books to editing them to the design, to then selling and then shipping. I mean, he does the whole thing, and it seems like now we're going to get that standard and collectors editions kind of combined. So the ideas that used to be split into 2 books are now going to be together in a single edition. I think that's great. Saves them money, which means that they can also offer more value for us, which is great, right? As well. What I also really like is that the price point is going to be much closer to the standard edition than to the collector's edition. So again, getting much more value for even more value for our money with Anathema Publishing, who really do some of the greatest work. I've got a couple more things to show you from Anathema Publishing, and I'm sure what I've just said will you'll just have to agree with. Let's continue with their news here. That the team is growing. So yes, it's no longer going to be just Gabriel McCarthy doing everything. Josephine is going to be doing the layouts of the books. Gabriel McCarthy's little brother, and so on and so forth. But the big news is that Laurence Deroux is going to be joining the company full time, and so it's going to be really a 2-person operation with other people helping out from time to time, rather than just a 1-person operation with other people helping out from time to time, which is really cool. So here's a lovely picture of the 2 of them. So yeah, great news there. And then some lovely news here that they'll be donating $1 per book sold from 2023 onwards to this foundation called One Tree Planted, which is really nice. And then they found a new YouTube host since Michael Barnett wasn't able to continue doing that. It seems that Samuel David is going to be taking over at Bibliosophia, so that's really awesome as well. Bibliosophia, the YouTube channel of Anathema Publishing, very cool indeed. More news is that Tantric Physics is getting a paperback edition. It's been out of print for some time. And so, the paperback edition is currently out. You can already buy it if you missed out on the earlier editions. And the Serpent Ikons Artisanal edition is... the work is underway, and we're already getting some beautiful pictures of what that's going to look like. Doesn't that? Oh my goodness! I mean, isn't it? Yeah, it's very special, very, very special indeed. And it seems like a few of these are still available, and with the accompanying little coins. Designed by Shandy AZK Busquetier. Very cool indeed. All right, moving on to news from Hadean Press. The Conjure Codex Volume 5 is now available, which is very, very exciting news. This one is dedicated to Jake Stratton Kent, who remains in hospital, unfortunately, but it's really nice to see that that the work on the Conjure Codex continues, and it's lovely to see that that this edition is being dedicated to him. This this YouTube trailer for the Conjure Codex is bound to get your mouth watering. I'll link it down below so that you can have a look. But it looks very, very exciting indeed. And we're getting a little look at the contents over here of what's going to be included. Some very big names in the field, right? If you are not sure what Conjure Codex is, I've made a review of the first 4 volumes, which I really recommend checking those out. It's a really nice journal of where esotericism and the occult's greatest names come together to share their thoughts on a particular topic. Very nice indeed. Let's see. So Daniel Harms has a new book coming out, Witch Bottles, History, Culture and Magic. So I'm not even sure this is a pre-order. I think this is actually available to purchase already. So Daniel Harms is, he's a major player, right? A major player in the occult scene, and it looks like there is a nice foreword. Here we go, by Dr. Alexander Cummins, which should probably give you an idea of the quality of what's going on here. So that's really, really nice. Let's move on to, because there really is so much. Joseph H. Peterson has also released a new book, Liber, Trium, Animarum, the Book of Three Souls, with text, translation and commentary by Joseph Peterson, original source book of medieval magic. I mean, how exciting can you get? And honestly, we're just getting started. There's it's one of the great currents in the history of spiritual exploration leads back to John Dee and his so-called Enochian system of magic. I'll let you get on with reading the full blurb here. But this is, as always with Joseph Peterson, this is very, very likely to become like a standard in the occult, on the occult scene. Everything that he publishes is extraordinary and essential. So so yeah, if you want to know what the next essential thing is going to be, it's usually a good idea to take a look at what he's publishing. So there we are. What else do we have? Hi, Annalise. Oh my goodness, lots and lots of people laughing at my comments. Well, let's see, we've got Lon Milo Duquette and hi Elizabeth as well, by the way. The Magick of Aleister Crowley, a handbook of the rituals of Thelema, is getting a new edition. So that's really nice. He's saying that it's now honoured to be a wiser classic. And of course it's a wiser classic. I should imagine that all of Lon Milo Duquette's books will become not just wiser classics, but classics full stop in the very near future. But yeah, really great to see that there's a new edition of this with a brand new up-to-date cover, which looks really lovely. What else? We've got news from Revelor Press, who are doing a special deal. So with the election only 10 days away, we're releasing complimentary EPUB versions of the book, I suppose, to all orders between now and November 8th. So if you want to get reading the book immediately, then yeah, as soon as you put in your order, you should receive that EPUB version of the Gorgon's Guide to Magical Resistance. So the Gorgon's Guide to Magical Resistance seems to be a collection of works by all of these practitioners and thinkers, which is really cool on the topic of magical resistance. So that's really, really nice and quite exciting. It looks like this is going to be a sequel to the New Aradia. There we go, from 2018. Let's move on to Runes, the Icelandic Book of Fuþark, which I don't know when this came out, but this is the first that I'm seeing of it. It is, well, as you can see, it's an Icelandic book of runes with explanations on each of the runes. Now, this company, the Icelandic Magick company, also do a couple of, well, at least one other book which is very well thought of in the on the Norse scene, which is this one, the Sorcerer's Screed, which I've talked about already on the news here, and so that's obviously still available. And yeah, if you're interested in Icelandic magic, then or Norse magic in general, then these two are, yeah, they come highly recommended. So that's really nice. Next, more news from Lon Milo Duquette, actually. His Sexual Alchemy of the Thoth Tarot DVD is now available. So this was 4 lessons that he gave on the sexual alchemy in the Thoth Tarot. And it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. I've seen this series, and I learnt so much from it. You know, he's a fantastic teacher. His style is very approachable. He's not going to say anything that's going to leave you confused. If there are any confusing topics, he's going to explain them. That's what he does. It's what's so wonderful about him. One of the many things that are so wonderful. And there's currently a 50% sale on, so that's really very, very cool indeed. You can get the whole 4 lessons for $39 instead of $79 through Magical Egypt, who I believe still do his tarot deck. What was the name of his wonderful tarot deck? It's out of my mind, but it'll come back as soon as I finish the video. Of course it will. All right, let's move on to so this was news actually from Benabel excuse me. So Jamie Sawyer 336.com is doing this deck of tarot cards which are applied to wooden tiles. So yeah, just a different feel to the tarot. You can see the style over here, just as I as I hover over it. It looks very beautiful, and it comes in this lovely wooden engraved box. Yeah, I think that's quite beautiful, actually. I think that's quite a lovely thing. If you were looking for a tarot tile set, then this certainly seems like it could be an option for you. And they look like they've been lacquered like that. Can you see how the light is reflecting off them? I wonder if that is epoxy or if it's just varnish. Very lovely. Very lovely. Okay. Here's another one right here, the Initiate. Very cool. Next, we've got the Vermilion collection, so the Cthulhu Mythos Comicology Tarot, which is now available for $55 US. You can buy the deck itself, so the deck is so much fun. Let me just go through some of these. It's basically a Cthulhu tarot deck, as there are many out there, but I think that the aesthetic on this one is particularly interesting. It looks professional, right? I think they've done a really lovely job on it. But it's not just a tarot deck. So there are these 4 elements metal coins, and then there's a 4 elements pendulum, which is very nice. And then you can get combinations of a little bit less or a little bit more put all together. So that's really nice. If you like the Cthulhu Mythos, it's worth also checking out all the other decks actually in the Vermilion collection. There are some very beautiful things, most of which have been kickstarted, and I think that I've already talked about the Monsoon Tarot in the past, which is so very pretty. It's all down in the description. Next, this one really blew me away. So this geomancy set, how to call them? It's not really dice. They're these battens. Let me show you. Here we go. Here's a better picture. So they are cubes that are attached together, and you roll them between your hands like this, so on 2 sticks, right? And you let them go, and you bring them together, and then you have your geomantic patterns, right? You have your 1 2 2 2, or your 2 2 1 1, or your 2 1 2 1, right? They're made of brass, so very high quality. I really recommend checking out the video. If it doesn't make your mouth water, I really don't know what will. You can get the dice, for lack of a better word. What is the proper name for it? I think there is Quira dice. Here we are. There we are. So you can get the Quira dice on their own. You can get this beautiful plate with the different with the planets and the constellations on it. Just a beautiful altar almost, right, on which to perform the geomancy. For those of you who aren't familiar with the geomancy, you could say that it's something like a Western I Ching, right? So where the I Ching has got hexagrams or pairs of trigrams, this is actually more like, it's pairs of tetragrams, or actually tetragrams or pairs of bigrams, I suppose you could say. So you've got these 16 figures in total, and depending on at what point they come out, they'll mean different things, and it's about the combination of how they work together on these layouts, right? So if you have like a Cauda Draconis over here, and a Populus, I think is another of the of the tetragrams over there, then it means different things, right? But it's quite precise, and it's been hailed as the most precise of the Western divinatory systems, which is really cool. Yeah, there we are. So that's very cool. And what do we have next? This blew my mind, actually. This is Carnivalia.com. We've got some, it's mostly divination stuff. There are a few Ouija boards here, but the Javamancy kind of raised a smile. You use this board and you drop your coffee beans. But then we've got a panoptic pendulum board. What else do we have? We've got a lovely fortune teller sign. But let me just scroll down to the thing that really you're probably seeing just as much as I'm seeing over here. It's incredibly cool. This Wheel of Fortune, right, which is going to pick one of the major arcana for you, and then we've got this crazy spinning tarot board. Wonderful stuff. This Hands of Fate, which looks a little bit like the alethiometer from his Dark Materials, and then what else? This crystal mediumship pendulum board with lots of different things going on around here. Just lots and lots of very, very cool paraphernalia there. And we're going to continue going on. I mean, if you haven't spent your your paycheck yet, just get prepared. The Book of Whispers, Bibliomancy and Art book by Kokorina. So this is a Kickstarter. We're looking at basically a bibliomancy book, so you can open it on any page, and it's supposed to give you some advice. It's very beautiful. If you have a look at the design of the book on the outside, the design of it's got its own slipcase, or rather, there's a level on which you can get the slipcase. And then if you have a look at some of the illustrations, how beautiful is that? Absolutely gorgeous, and you get an idea of what the recommendations are, right, for when you're doing bibliomancy and opening on a random page. Yeah, that really captured my imagination. The use of color and that kind of black background with the gold. It just looks very, very beautiful indeed. So that's really nice. What else? This is so cool, guys. So the creator of this campaign is looking for only £5,500. It seems like a lot, but it also seems like not enough people know about this campaign. So here we go. The creator of this campaign wants to make available a huge amount of material, Greco-Egyptian and Roman magical material. So whether they are magic signs or magic artifacts, there are 2 ebooks that she wants to create, and she wants to make the material available, just not at crazy academic prices, right? So this is really an appeal for patrons, and this is really cool. You get to you get to either just purchase the ebooks that are coming out, this source book of ancient magic signs and this catalogue of ancient magic signs. But you can also name a magic sign, right, after your own name, or adopt a magic artifact, which I think is really lovely. But I think what I would urge you to do is to check out the campaign itself, and specifically this video in which she explains everything so beautifully. And if you're not able to help, do check out the video anyway, and maybe share on social media, because this is really a worthy cause, and it would be so sad for it not to be funded, because if it can't be funded, then it'll be hidden behind a very large academic paywall, which and then only academics will be able to access it, and this creator is wanting to make this Kirsten Zviza. I hope I haven't butchered Kirsten's name here. She wants to make it available to the wider public, and yeah, you can see that the levels of support are very reasonable, from 5 euros even. 10 euros gives you early access to the graphics of the signs. 25 euros gives you the source book of ancient magic signs as an ebook. I think the only thing for me that may be missing would be a hard copy, but of course that might come further down the line, right? If this gets funded, then 35 euros or more gives you access to the catalogue of ancient magic signs. What else? 50 euros, both the source book and the catalogue, and 75 euros gives you personal dedications and early access. And then you can start going into the slightly more the more expensive ranges here, with 350 euros. You get both books, of course, but then you also get to name one of the magic signs, and there are there are details of the actual signs that get named, and then you can adopt these, right, by getting your name at the bottom of the page, and of course that sign will then be attributed to you thereafter. There's also a plan to make an entire font, so that people can use this font when they're writing about Greco-Egyptian magic, which is, I mean, the whole thing is fantastic, and I really strongly hope that this ends up happening. So that's really cool. Next, the Arthur Findlay or Findlay College in where is it? It's in the airport in the north of London is called, can't remember. What is wrong with me today? Stansted, there we go. Well done, Denny. Stansted have the world's foremost college for the advancement of spiritualism and psychic sciences. There we go. Got there in the end. And they're having an open weekend online, 26th and 27th of November 2022. And I was just going through their offering here, and check this out. It's just chock-a-block of very exciting lectures, and you can pick as many as you like. Basically, many of them are happening simultaneously, so you just pick one of them. But they're all actually reasonably priced. Some of them are even free. Okay, actually, this seems to be local. Possibly local only, I'm not sure, but £5 for a lecture on yeah, any of these topics, in fact, seems very exciting indeed, right? Very, very cool. And it's over 2 entire days. So yeah, it goes on and on and on. All of these lectures happening. I recommend having a quick look, regardless of where you are in the world, because it seems to be going on all day from early morning UK time to much later in the evening. It seems the last one seems to be at 7 p.m. UK time, which I suppose is around lunchtime US time. But yeah, very, very cool stuff. Have I missed something? Yes, I have. Josephine McCarthy. I mean, I told you, right? Today was a big one. Josephine McCarthy has announced a new magical baby. So she has created a new... Actually, all right, let's go with this. She's created a series of magical paintings, which are supposed to come together as a deck. Now, she is currently looking for funding to make these paintings into a deck, and so she's selling the paintings themselves. These, the process of creating these paintings are documented in this blog, right, which you can read directly off the screen. Links down below, of course. There's also a Glitch Bottle podcast that was released just a few days ago, in which she talks about what it was like creating these paintings over the past 2 years, and there's this. Oh my goodness! This magical process is so beautiful, so inspiring. To find out about. The paintings themselves are utterly gorgeous. But they're more than gorgeous. I mean, they go deep, right? They're designed to be a window onto a magical concept, and they just work. They're absolutely gorgeous. So that's very, very exciting indeed. And here we go. The paintings themselves will be for sale in the not too distant future, probably on the Tade Hent Books website over here. And as soon as they do go on sale, of course, I'll be talking about it over here. And finally, we're getting to the end of the video with my board game of the week, which is 20 Strong. So this is a solo game, and whenever I see a strongly themed, beautiful solo game, it grabs my attention. I really like the idea of a solo game. But very often they're poorly executed, right? Destinies, in fact, was really an exception in how perfect and how immersive a solo experience that was. And this seems to be quite a nice, short solo puzzler experience where you're rolling dice, so that's nice. That's something that's very often missing for me in solo games. I like the tactile aspect of dice, and the idea is that you're making your way through these quite beautifully produced cards. They seem to have some kind of metallic sheen on some of the items on the card, and you're fighting your way through these various foes to get finally to the boss. But the more dice you use, of course, to get to the boss, the fewer dice you still have available when you are in fact taking the boss head on. The theme looks fun. The campaign is not great, but the cards look very very pretty. What particularly caught my attention, I have to admit, was the fact that it's created by a board game designer whom I just implicitly trust. They created Too Many Bones, which was a huge success, but not many people got to play it because the rule book was so huge. Some people were saying that they needed a rule book to learn how to read the rule book. So here they've decided to make something extremely simple with just a couple of pages of rules, so something that anyone can pick up very fast, and that plays very, very quickly with a strong theme, but the focus really is on the gameplay. So that's great to me. That sounds good. I think that's something that I could probably trust, you know. So if that's something that's of interest to you, then you're very welcome. Thank you ever so much, everyone, for watching the video today, and don't forget to leave a thumbs up, because that really helps the channel. Don't forget to leave a comment down below as well. That's another thing that really helps the channel and helps these videos get seen by more people. Yeah, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and check out the various ways in which you can support the channel. Of course, there's a PayPal, but there's also a Patreon with lots of cool perks, and also the YouTube memberships with identical perks, in fact. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for continuing to follow my videos, and I'll see you very soon with another video. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.